First and foremost, is that how you say it? I don't know. First, I just want to say I'm back. It's been a while since I've made a full video like this, so I'm back. Second, I want to say that, announce that I have a podcast with my friend Sammy. It's called Literally Anything the Podcast. I will link it in the description. It's about literally anything. Each week we have a new topic that we talk about. We both grew up in the same circumstances, I guess you could say. And we did a lot of the same things together, so a lot of things that happened in our life we went through together, or experienced together. Went through basically sound like a bad thing, but most of it's not bad things. We also talk about our interests, because our likes are the same thing, so if you want to check that out, we have a new episode every Saturday, unless there is a inconvenience. So, yes. Now, for the topic of this video, I am doing a 2023 book essay. I don't know what to call this. What do you call this? It's gonna probably be less complicated than 2022 because I read a lot more books. I read 7 more books in 2022 than I did this year. Not this year, 2023. I hope to read more books than I read in 2023. So that's my goal. So I should get started. If you don't already know or listen to Literally Anything, the podcast, I gave Sammy some books to read, and so a lot of the books that I read this year are not with me because she's babysitting them. So that brings me into the first book. Also, side note, I have a microphone now from the podcast, so hopefully the audio's better. I'm also wearing a leather jacket, so it might sound a little bit weird at points, but yeah. So, into our first book, which I don't have because Sammy's babysitting it for me, is Better Than Movies by Lynn Painter. I should probably look at my book journal notes. I already know what I rated it, so I don't know why I need to look at this, but I gave it 5 stars. It is my favorite book of 2023. It was so good, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was really, really good. It's not good, it's amazing. It's a great book. I had a lot to say about this, as you can see. I think one of my last videos, which was a long time ago because I haven't been filming a lot, I already said, I think I already read what I wrote in here, so I'm not gonna reread it, but, so as I said, it's by Lynn Painter. I got 2 more books by her, one of them for Christmas, one of them while shopping. I have on here that's 349 pages, so 350 is the best way to say it. It's romantic comedy, which is my favorite genre. Yeah, it's a really good book. It's so cute. If you love romantic comedy books or movies, actually, if you love romantic comedy movies, and then you'll really love it. It's cute. It's funny. It's a really good book. So, yes. Next, I also don't have this one. Because I read it on my Kindle, so, and I don't know, and my Kindle's over there, and I'm not gonna go get it, because my ring light's in the way. I read Good Girl, Mad Blood by Holly Black. No, that's not her name. Wrong Holly. I read Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I mixed up my Hollies. I'm sorry, Holly. Both Hollies, I'm sorry. It is the next book in the Good Girls Guide to series. Good Girls Guide to Murder series. And also that's being turned into a show, which is supposed to come out in the spring. So I'm excited for that. I haven't read the third one yet. I will soon. Yeah, it was, I think, 5. Can look at my journal notes. I don't know why I'm not doing that. So 5 stars. It's mystery. It's 416 pages. There's a lot of cool additions in the book, like letters and pictures and stuff like that. So that's fun. Next is also one of my favorites of the year. It's in my top 3, and I do have it. So, my favorite books of this year. So my top 3 is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I can already say I rated this 5 stars. I don't think it was 5 stars at first, but then I couldn't stop thinking about it, and then I started missing it, and I would think about certain things and be like, oh my gosh, that was so good. So, 5 stars. I want this to be not 30 minutes, so. It's 412 pages. It's historical fantasy. There wasn't really a clear answer on what the genre was, so, but I kept saying fantasy. In my opinion, it's historical because she goes back in time. Well, it's not back in time. She lives for like 300 years, so yeah. It's, I mean, you know, I'm not really into the love triangle trope, but this is one of the ones where it works because at first you're rooting for one of the guys, like the present guy, but then as you read the story and see her backstory, then you root for the kind of villain, you know. But at the same time, you're not like, oh, well, then the new guy can just, like, go away. You still want something really good for him. You still hope that he gets a good ending because you care for him. That's the best way I can describe it. There's one section in this book where the guy from the present, like the new love interest, it's like his section of the book, his part of the book. And I really like that part because it makes you really appreciate him and that character because you're starting to kind of go away from him because you're like, oh, this other guy. But then you read his story and you're like, wow. So, yeah, it's one of my favorites. I love this book so much. I'm not really into like historical fiction, but this one really, really good. Yeah, so. Makes you appreciate life a little bit. You saw me read this one in my swapping screen time with reading, if you saw that. It is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, my favorite writer, or one of my favorite writers ever. My favorite is Leigh Bardugo. She's like my second. Yeah, so it's romantic comedy. It's 370 pages. Basically it's, my jacket. Basically it's like a Hallmark movie, but it's different. It's done right. It's a Hallmark movie without the cheese. I also had a lot to say about this one. Wow. It's 5 stars. All Emily Henry books are 5 stars. Just facts. Her and her sister take a vacation, and she's a publisher, and she tried to work with this guy, and they didn't get along. But on this vacation, she realizes that he lives there, and his mom owns a bookstore that's not doing well, and so her sister, and this guy are like, hey, let's fix up the bookstore and get it back in shape. And of course they fall in love, because who doesn't fall in love in an Emily Henry book? I threw that. I'm so sorry. My hot chocolate from this morning, I can't point on camera, my hot chocolate from this morning is still full because I didn't have time for it to cool because I had to get to my class. So I read The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barns. My friend Sammy is babysitting the Inheritance games. Because I was like, hey, the Hawthorne brothers are some of the finest people in the world. So you gotta read it, cause you gotta read it. I read 4.5 stars. It's 368 pages. It's mystery. I got the 4th one for Christmas, which is in, I'm gonna guess it's in Jameson and Grayson's point of view, which were like the two main love interests of these books. So I'm really excited to see what it's like in their point of view, because yeah, so basically a girl comes to their house and she's like, oh my gosh, this guy that we know is kidnapped and you gotta save him, but can we truly trust that girl because she was sketchy? Can you trust her? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that question because that'd be a spoiler. But they have to stay with this guy and do all these riddles to figure things out, and they gotta play chess and stuff, so. What did I read next? Beach read. Oh, okay, so I was trying to remember what the order of my top 3 books are. So number 1 is Better Than Movies, Number 1 is Better Than Movies, number 2 is Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and number 3 is Beach Read by Emily Henry. So obviously 5 stars. Don't need to even ask what the rating is, because you already know when it has this name on it, it's gonna be 5 stars. It's 358 pages. It's romantic comedy. Basically, she moves into her dead father's old beach house kind of situation where he cheated on her mother. And she realizes that her college rival kind of person is living next door, and his aunt also runs a bookstore, and she goes to the book club that basically his aunt has a book club, and she joins it because she's a writer. She's a romance writer, and he's in it too. And he's also a writer, but his stories are very much like dark, not happy endings, sort of. Their writing is polar opposites. And so one day, they're kind of arguing, like, my book's better. No, my book's better. That kind of arguing. And they decide to swap genres. And so they do like field trips in a way to help each other figure out how to write each other's genre. And of course, it's Emily Henry, so they fall in love. It's a romantic comedy. That's not really a spoiler, This one I read on vacation. It's Daughter of a Pirate King because I read it on a ship. And this takes place on a ship because it's a pirate. So, I gave this one 4 stars. Yeah, I guess it's 4 stars, maybe 3.5. It was really good when I read it, but it's not one of those books that I think about a lot, It's like, oh yeah, that was good, but I don't constantly be like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. It's 336 pages. It's fantasy. She needs something off of her rival ship, So she gets kidnapped by the pirates, but she planned it. And of course the pirate that the captain of that ship, I think, no, there's co-captains. One of them, of course, kind of falls in love with her. There was one part in the book where it was like they're on an island, but they get kind of captured by a weird guy, and she has to use her powers or something. It was kind of confusing. That part felt like a fever dream because it didn't really go with anything else in the book, so a little bit weird. But it's a good book. You like pirates? I don't really read that many pirate books, except for Nikolai Landsov because he's a queen. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. It's my first Christina Lauren book. It's 400 pages. It's romantic comedy. 5 stars. Obviously. It's really cute. I would say it's a good vacation book because basically the 2 main characters, so their siblings are getting married, right? So her sister is getting married to his brother, but they don't really like each other that much because she thought he body shamed her at one point, but he didn't, but it makes it look like he did, so I get her point. Quick rant. Her twin sister, is the rudest person. Like, she can go eat dirt. I think she got her own book too. Like, at the end, she kind of redeemed herself, which I think is kind of funny, because at the end, the main guy, what's his name? Ethan. He's like, he kind of makes a jab at her sister for not seeing the good in all of the main character. He's like,
yeah, I know she was good all along. It took you a while to figure that out.
So, I don't like her sister. She's mean. She gets her sister the worst bridesmaid dress for some reason because it's cheap, but then it just makes her sister look weird and doesn't fit her. Also, her twin sister is allergic to seafood, and for some stupid reason, her Amy's her twin sister, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna have seafood at my wedding. And so her twin sister, who's allergic to seafood, is like, oh, great. Good choice. Imagine that. Imagine you have a twin who is allergic to a certain food. You're like,
everybody, we're having peanuts. Sorry, Joe. I know you're deathly allergic, but it's my wedding. We're having peanuts for my wedding.
She doesn't eat the food, and Ethan doesn't like seafood, so they have to eat something else. So, because the seafood is cheap, everybody gets food poisoning, including the bride and groom. And Amy's like, hey, you and Ethan, go take my honeymoon trip. So they do. That's why it's called the unhoneymooners, because they're not married. They're just pretending to be married so that they can take this trip. So it's like fake dating in a way. It's fake marriage. But also his ex-girlfriend's there, and he's like, oh no, and she's like, we'll make her jealous, and stuff like that. I'd say the vacation part was a lot better than when they got home, because Amy was very popular. And also, on the bottom shelf. Why is everything on the bottom shelf? I think I ignored the bottom shelf a lot, so I try to take from it a lot. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which also, okay, I just want to apologize to Holly Black and everybody who loves Cruel Prince, and don't blame me, blame my candle. So there was an accident. For some reason, the soot, is it called soot, on my candle decided to travel. I don't know how it got from up there to all the way down here, but it decided to travel onto the back of this book. So yeah, and our favorite friend Stuart. It's a very popular book. I gave it 4 stars. It's 370 pages. It's fantasy. I think I didn't give it 5 stars because I really thought there was going to be more Carden. Carden's the love interest. I mean, he's the cruel prince. I thought there was going to be more of him. I mean, there was a lot of him. It was just mainly him trying to kill her. You know, it was like when you actually heard him speak like a normal human. You know, like when he's actually using his actual, when he's being himself, you know, not trying to be cool, kind of, I don't know how to describe it. When he's actually being himself, then I was like, oh, where were you? I wanted to see you this whole time. I think we'll probably see more of that in the next books. But it's a really interesting concept because I didn't know that she was from the real world and then she's taken to this fairy world, and so everybody around her is kind of mythical creatures. She's a human, and yeah, I kind of like that. And she can go back and forth from the human world. So imagine like living there and then going to Target in the human world and being like, I just came from a magical forest. These people don't know I came from a magical forest. So it's a really good book. I can see the hype. Yeah. Next is my first horror book, horror genre. It's Hide by Kiersten White. Now, originally it was going to be 2.5 stars. Now it's 3.5. I think if I could change, I think it's actually 3. So, there was a big problem in this book, and there were 2 main problems. 1 was pace, and 2 was head hopping, which is when the POV switches, which happens when there's dual POV, or Six of Crows has that, but that's fine, that's acceptable. Head hopping is when the point of view changes in the same scene. So even when it's third person, so it was things like they were in a bus traveling to the location for like the first half of the book, felt like it was just in a bus. And so each chapter it would swap. It'd be like, Anna's thinking about her ex-boyfriend and how she's so happy to get the money to get away from him. And then it would switch to Charlie's thinking about the new game he's gonna make. And it was like, they kept switching. And I was like, can some of you guys die so you stop swapping. I can't talk. But once they got into the actual park to hide, it made sense because you gotta see like, oh, that one's dead. So, another thing is that also I was thinking the only character there were 2 characters I was close to. One of them wasn't the main character, but one of them I love him so much and he should have lived. I do like the suspense that it was actually scary. So, it was very suspenseful. The horror was done very good. I feel like it was very creative. It's just the writing, the writing style was not the best. I think it would have been a lot better without head hopping and without the very long bus scene. So, yeah. But it was really fun to read. I feel like I'm talking bad about this book. It was really fun to read. It's just, if you want some, it's like, I don't know, I feel like from until page like 50, I think, then it's when it actually gets good. So, oh, I don't have the last book with me because my friend is babysitting it. The last book is If We Were Villains by M.L. If We're Villains by M.L. Rio. It is 358 pages. It's mystery / theater fiction. I added that one myself. It's 5 stars. If you don't know, I'm in theater, and so this one hit close to home for me. And it's very much dark academia. They're all in theater together. They do Shakespeare plays mostly. Actually, only kind of. They all have a role that they play, but then one day one of them kind of starts acting up and is kind of rebelling against all of them, and he's like getting these anger issues, and it's this whole deal, and one of them ends up dead, and they all have to act like nothing happened because, yeah, all the characters are great. There's even off the stage, they have their own roles that they play. My friend is currently reading it, so friend who is watching this, read this book because it is really good. Oh my gosh. The format of the book is like a script, and so yeah, it's like a script. It's really cool. That's one of the reasons why I gave it to my friend, because we're in theater together. And so I was like, hey, it's like reading a script kind of. It's very comforting. Even though it's somebody died and everything that's at stake, it's still very comforting. And it's a very, very, very likable main character. Oh my gosh. I really like that main character. Oliver. Queen. Yeah, so those are the books I read this 2023. Right now I'm reading Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, I think that's her name. So it's very popular right now. It's a little bit crazy. There are some interesting scenes so far. I want to do more videos this year. I just have trouble filming when there's people here because I don't like filming when people's here. But I want to do more videos like waking up early to read. Heeeeyyy did it where she woke up at 5. I kind of want to do like 6 because I don't know if I can do 5 in the morning every day. Maybe I could before everybody else is awake. I don't know, I just want to do more book challenge videos, so if anybody has any ideas on that, let me know.
I hope this video gets views. It sucks when you make a video and like you edit it and then it doesn't get any views, and then you're like, oh, then why do I make another video if it's not gonna get any views, and all that. So
Yeah. Update on my life. You can also hear this on Literally Anything, the podcast, but I got accepted into college, so that's fun. I graduate this year also in May. I have a performance coming up in May, so there's a lot going on. Yeah. This video is now 36 minutes, so I should probably end it and enjoy the rest of my time home alone, if I'm still home alone. Hopefully I am. So, I haven't said this in a really long time. Okay, also I want to say that if you are here from my Zodiac Zodiac series I've been doing on shorts, thank you for any support on that, because that was nice. Yeah, so. Ooh, hope you enjoyed this video. Oh, it's been so long since I've done this. It's been like, how long? 3 months? 4 months? 5 months? 12 months? I don't know how long it's been. So, with all love, Elizabeth. Bye!